Okay guys, Mollusk here, and it's been a rough couple of days for our little community. We've had some major casualties. Lord Tremendous has gone now in flames, and I think we're all waiting for fireworks from the Sustainable Centre. Others, like Vince Venturella and Michael from Doom and Darkness, have been valiantly carrying the banner, approaching Age of Sigmar optimistically, and in their own ways putting out content to stop us from all eating each other. But let's be honest with ourselves, guys. As it exists right now, this is a fucking terrible game. At least for adults who want to match wits with others and have a game they can learn and grow in skill with. And I'm not saying that this is a game you can't have fun with, and it has got aspects that I think most of us wanted, such as a less cumbersome rule system and a game that's much quicker to play. But for myself, and it seems many other people, the way it's achieved this has not been worth it. I really hope that these rules for this new and completely different game is just something for a first edition easing us into this new system, and that future editions will steadily pack more depth into it, otherwise I just can't see this game surviving. That's what I hope, but to be honest, I'm not sure I see this being more than a kid's game to introduce a younger generation to Games Workshop's products, and thereby build a new player base. I mean, I don't know if it struck you guys, but I've seen videos of grown men seriously sitting down around a table, talking about strategy and tactics in the same way that we used to about 8th. And it's like watching some military commanders sitting around poking a child's plastic gun and saying things like, well, if we stick a razor blade on this part, or hold it this way as we club our opponents in the face, then that'll be a way to get an advantage. Come on! It's literally written all over the rules, and all the Games Workshop staff have been told to chant it like a litany. This is not a game for competition. This is a game to have fun with the models that the Games Workshop wants the excuse to sell to you. To us, rather. Because if they do bring out some nice goats or trolls or something, I'm sure they'll sucker me into spending even more money. But yeah, whilst I really hope this game succeeds in future, for now, I can't really see myself wanting to waste my time on it, unless I find myself playing someone completely new to the game, as it certainly is easy to pick up. Okay, but basically, from what I'm seeing is obviously there are two main camps: people who find they like this game, and good on you, and people who've held up their hands and gone, game over. And I imagine Privateer Press is pretty happy with that now. And a third and probably largest group of people sitting tight and waiting to see what happens. Maybe playing some 8th, maybe playing some Age of Sigmar. What sensible people. And there have also been voices suggesting Warhammer 8.5 or Community Comp, and that's what I wanted to explore in this video. Basically, I sat down this evening and designed my own game. And don't worry guys, I'm not delusional. I have absolutely no expectation that this will catch on and bring me fame and fortune. I just wanted to show that if you want to, do it, why the hell not? It stands to reason to make a really great game. It takes a lot of time and effort and skill and experience. But if you want to make a game that's a bit of fun and has some passable balance, it's not fucking difficult. And you can't do worse than Games Workshop's new triumph. So with all that said, I'll introduce my new game, and maybe you'll even see some playtests of it in future.
Warhammer, Wizards of Warpsea. The world has ended. Billions died horribly, and all that was once fought for so passionately is gone. But not all who experienced those final days met the same fate. As reality shuddered its last, many denizens of that stricken planet were dragged into gaping warp rifts and lost within the realm of chaos, the Warp Sea. Millennia passed by, but time does not flow properly within the warp. Some survivors managed to escape its nightmarish grip and found themselves in a new world full of Sigmarines and derp. They quickly found they would rather eat a dick than live in it, and jumped back into their hellish comfort zone. The warp is a place of roiling magical energy and shit. Those gifted in the mystical arts find themselves able to mould the fabric of time and space, summon entire warbands of minions, and generally act like megalomaniacal arseholes. You are one such arsehole. This is your story.
So the intent of this game is to be small scale, fast paced, and to impose limitations to make you have to make some tough decisions. It's based around the idea of summoning your army in onto the table, which I know is something that a lot of people often have said they don't like, but it's not a style I've ever really played before, and on the one occasion where I did play it, I actually found it quite refreshing and enjoyable. And I think if both players can do it, it could be quite interesting. I'm just going to say that any unfortunate similarities between this and Magic the Gathering are completely coincidental. I've never played the game, but I know vaguely that it's supposed to be about wizards walking between dimensions and summoning stuff, and I've never really got it myself, but when I look back over this, I realised it might be something that people could draw a similarity to. But that's not what I based it on. So what are the rules? Well, basically you use Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition, and also the End Times rules if you want, with the following exceptions. You have something called a Grand Wizard. Basically, you have to take a level 4 wizard from whatever army book you're using, and it must be the general. And in addition to any other rules they have, you also gain the following. Arcane Houdini, a 5+ ward save against miscasts. The Aura of Transmutation, taken from Morgor, the Master of Skulls, the Beastman character's rule, and he cannot be harmed in any way by missile attacks or spells unless the model that is the source of the attack is within 12 inches. Which is important because the victory conditions are that you must kill your opponent's Grand Wizard. But to make things a little bit tougher from you, your Grand Wizard also has Epic Arrogance, and means he can't join any other units and has to run around on his own. And because I know someone's going to be difficult and want to play dwarfs, the Rune Dwarfs can be wizards, and they can take the laws of fire, metal and shadow, and undeath. And I've bumped the character points costs up a little bit accordingly. Force organisation is a little bit different, and at the start of the game you can only take your Grand Wizard and up to 500 points worth of core. You can equip your Grand Wizard however you like, but if you go over 250 points, it starts to eat into your core budget. And basically the idea is to make you choose whether you want to take a very strong Grand Wizard, or take some bigger core blocks, which can hold your enemy's force at bay. But if you pack too much into one unit, then if your opponent takes a lot of smaller but more manoeuvrable units, they can get round you potentially and get to your wizard. So decisions to make there. The magic phase uses Cane magic, but chain casting spells is a bit harder, as any spells that are dispelled count as failing as if the casting value had not been reached. And basically, as magic is kind of more of the focus of this game, I thought the Cane magic phase was more appropriate. Especially because I find it favours casting smaller spells with less dice. Which is important, because miscasting with your Grand Wizard is pretty damn bad, considering you lose if he dies. And I've tweaked the miscast table so that you can't dimensional cascade with the Grand Wizard and just instant lose the game. And the last thing to talk about is magic. Basically your lesser wizards work as normal, but your Grand Wizards are slightly different. They know every signature spell, but they must use the Law of Undeath, which has the following modifications. Essentially all the wording is changed so that you summon stuff from your army book, rather than just tons of undead everywhere, unless you're undead. The healing spell, the Breath of Darkness, basically just heals any of your friendly units. And the boosted version of the Harbinger allows you to summon Lord level characters, as well as monsters, chariots or war machines, so that's quite nasty. And that's literally it, guys. I'm actually quite looking forward to trying it out. Hopefully I can do a battle and get a report up before I go on holiday. Normally I can't stand fan-made rules, and I don't believe anyone would want to try this out for themselves, but just in case they do, I've stuck the rules down in the description. Go nuts.